Fellow cardboarders and Dungeons & Dragons players, welcome back to my channel. A couple of friends of mine and I wanted to start playing Dungeons & Dragons again, and I wanted to share how I make my minis, my little tokens for characters that players might want to play, or enemies that they might encounter. Here are some like imps maybe, or like some spirit, some ghost that you might encounter. Here's a little familiar that you might have as a wizard or so, a little owl. Then making such minis out of a little piece of wood and a magic card is obviously much cheaper than buying minis like these. This one here is out of some metal and cost me, I don't know, like $5 to $10 or so. While one of these costs you like 10 cents, let's say, maybe 20, depending on the worth of the card. Obviously, we're gonna use bulk cards, so cards that are worth like a couple of cents. I'll also show you how to filter Magic the Gathering cards on a website called Scryfall for the ones that are Dungeons & Dragons players only, to find cards that are cheap enough for you if you want to buy a specific single. But the idea would be that you buy bulk and just find what you get in a little collection and see what you might want to use for a character or your enemies or the like. And let me tell you, Magic the Gathering players have hundreds if not thousands of these flying around, so you will find these online for a couple of bucks for just a few, for even hundreds or thousands of cards. You just have to look on eBay and buy maybe a collection of 1,000 cards for, let's say, probably less than $5. And for the regular viewers, don't worry, we are continuing Magic the Gathering content on this channel. This will not become a Dungeons & Dragons channel, but maybe from time to time I will show you a little of my crafting things that I do with Magic the Gathering cards. This is the tool that I'm using, a so-called circle punch. I will link down below where you can find it, what it costs. I am not sure if this one from this exact company is still available, but it is a so-called circle punch. It has like a little lock, so it springs open, and you can fit in any of your cards in here to punch out your, in this case, little bat enemy, and you try to focus it on any of the areas that you want to have, and then you just punch it out like so. There it goes. Sorry, I didn't say. For the faint of heart, if you don't like Magic the Gathering cards destroyed, maybe now is a great time to leave. But if you want to see how I make my little tokens, this is the video for you. So I'm currently planning for the first quest to have some bats as enemies. So I have multiple ones here ready that I've had in my collection. So 6 bats, I found a nice number. These I'm all gonna punch out here and stick onto little pieces of wood. These discs also you should buy in bulk, so you have enough for quests like this imp quest here I have even more of. And you can see, like, I'm using a grid to play on normally. You can move them around, they fit nicely onto a 1-inch circle. This is a 1-inch circle punch here, and they fit perfectly on a 1-inch grid. And Magic the Gathering has hundreds, if not thousands, 10,000s of different cards that cost like 10 cents per piece if you want a specific art. But if you buy bulk, you will always find like inspiration, like maybe you want to make a demon quest or like something more Asian style with like a samurai kind of card. Maybe some forest spirit, whatever floats your boat, you know. And even the lands and artifacts you can use either for giving them out to players. Maybe they got a silent dart, maybe a hidden weapon or a sword, and you can give them out to players and say this is the thing you just looted. You could even erase the text with a eraser if you want to and write down your own effects and names for the stuff if you want to. Here's a sword, maybe you want to give that holy sword to a paladin and they can just trade it if they don't want it anymore or want to share it with their fellow players. So yeah, and these tokens I also really like because you can use them for bigger enemies. Like I have a second circle punch which is 1.5 inch, and this makes bigger circles. So in this case, if you compare, it's a bigger enemy. And what is really nice about this, so this is like a slime enemy, is that it fits onto 4 squares, and now it's a bigger enemy to beat, and it is clear that it's not a medium size but a large size opponent. I don't know if there's an even bigger circle punch for like 3x3, but at some point these cards would be a little too big. Maybe a token you could still fit onto a 3x3 space if you wanted to, but this is a thing I have not yet used, so I will stick with the 2x2, a 1.5 inch circle punch. This I will also link down in the description if you want the bigger one. And what I also like about them is that you can pick them up easily, since they're like about 0.5 to 1 centimeter thick, I'd say, which is why I wouldn't only use like the punched out discs from the card, but also stick them to the wood itself. Next step, what I then have is some glue that is also working on wood and can stick a piece of cardboard onto wood, and then I just put a little of the glue on the wood. What is really nice about not printing out the art for your little tokens is that the quality of this cardboard is so much better than a flimsy piece of paper. It is obviously coated and protected against oils and moistures from hands, and will live much longer than just flimsy paper stuck onto wood. So, and this I will just leave out for like an hour or so. Maybe I will put down a book or so to just be sure that it really sticks to the wood. And that is it. And now I can use it for my first quest with my players. My players will also encounter like a bigger worm, so I will use the bigger circle punch. And I really like that if you slide the card in, that it really goes down to just about the border of the card, which you don't want in the artwork. So the preview of what you get out of the circle punch is just made for these cards now, isn't it? Obviously you can also switch it around if you want a different angle to be seen here, and then maybe you have something bigger that you want to circle punch out here. But I think this is just the angle that I want on the worm. I'll check if there is no border in sight, and it does not appear so. So let's punch it out and get a worm here. There it goes. Goodbye card. Also just a 5-cent card or so. And then we have the bigger wooden discs here compared to the little one here, the 1 inch. This is the 1.5 inch. Now let's stick the worm onto that as well, because my glue is getting empty soon. Okay, there it goes. Still something in there. And there you have your worm token. Again, really easy to use. You only need the circle punch here, some wooden discs and some glue, and then you're good to go. Obviously some MtG cards, but these you can just simply buy off a bulk auction or sales post on eBay or the like. Or you just ask your MtG friends for some bulk cards that they have sorted out anyways. Now obviously we want to give something to the players as well. We want to let them have some nice characters. So maybe you have a dwarf character and they don't want the red beard, maybe they want a brown beard. Or maybe they want a dragonborn. Where will they find those, right? They are not real dragons, right? So here's a website called Scryfall, where you can, with different queries, find cards that are on the one hand cheap enough, so you don't have to break your bank by buying like a $5 card for just destroying it the second you receive it, and also find cards with different art in them. And there is this search tag that you can use. On the one hand, you want to use USD and then smaller than, maybe let's say 0.1 or like 0.5 bucks per card if you want a specific one. And you could also use search tags like art and then colon, for example, beard, and you find all the Magic the Gathering artworks that costs less than 10 cents and has beard in the artwork. And then you can just choose or let your players choose which card they like. There's a website called Cardmarket. You could add me as a referral if you want to support the channel and do not have a Cardmarket account yet. And just buy the card off Cardmarket if you want this exact artwork to have in your hands. If you don't really mind about beards but want to find, for example, human arts, and you could just put in type : human. Or for example, I wanted to have specific bats and wanted to see what bats are there in Magic the Gathering, and I found this one, and I just used type and then : bat. And lastly, if you bought a bulk collection, you might also have lands, and these also are perfect for inspiration about the next story that you might want to tell. Maybe it's happening at the beach and you can describe what you see in this picture to your players. Magic the Gathering really has some beautiful artworks in their lands, and you could just describe these plains to them, and there are little will-o'-the-wisps flying around. And yeah, these are also beautiful for just inspiration. You could stick this next to your quest description that you have and describe the one or the other land that is there for the players to imagine it even better. So this is what I will leave you with. Again, all the tools that I used today are in the description below. I will also try to find the company that I bought these wooden circle-y discs here in the description. I'm not sure if I can find them, but if you just look at your wood shop, local wood shop or crafting shop, they might be able to sell you a box like this. In German they are called Konusplättchen, and I bought them from some company that just had 1 kilogram with all of these wooden discs in there, and I still haven't used them all. So it's a great investment if you want to play Dungeons and Dragons regularly. They are reusable and your players will be happy to have their own character running around on their playing field. Also, let us know in the comments below if you got some Scryfall queries that you also find useful for finding specific cards, especially if you're not an MTG player, but also for me as an MTG player, I really like the tags that I also shared of being able to search for art, or maybe I want a specific creature type. For more crafting and MTG content, do subscribe to this channel and watch another video of mine. Don't forget to add CardboardTutor as your referral when creating your Cardmarket account. I wish you a beautiful day, happy dungeon crawling, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye!